Hey, sorry. I was trying to find that button. Hello and good evening for this Thursday, April 20th, 2023. We are here on Live Long and Podcast, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch to react to the news that a new movie, a special movie event is coming out called Star Trek Section 31, working title for now. As this has been kicking around for some time now, since Discovery season one, I guess back in like 2017 or 2018. So we're here 5 years later, and they've finally come out with this news that they're not doing a show because it was going to be a spin-off of Star Trek Discovery based on the mirror universe version of Philippa Georgiou from that show, who left Star Trek Discovery in season 3. She kind of goes into this portal and we don't know where she goes. And they were always like, well, we're going to maybe do this show one day with Michelle Yeoh. They've been talking about that as early as like season 1. But the show wasn't really doing great in the ratings. And I think Michelle Yeoh wanted to go off and do other things. She this year, she won an Oscar for Best Actress in Everything Everywhere All at Once. A milestone, big event. Is one of the first Asian. I think she was the first Asian woman ever to win an Oscar, I believe. It was a very big moment. And so Michelle Yeoh riding very high right now. And they said, hey Michelle Yeoh, you want to come back and do a show? And she's like, how about a movie? And so they came out here. Now, Davan,
you can pay me movie wages.
Yes, Davan. I know this has your two favorite things in all of Star Trek: the Mirror Universe and Section 31. I want to
Discovery.
And Discovery, yeah. But remember, Star Trek: Strange New
I
Worlds.
just put on my comm badge because now I am officially more Star Trek than this entire idea.
This whole idea, yeah. Well, remember, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds spun off from Discovery, and we like that. At least we talked about the trailer.
But like I say, they cut that cord. They cut that cord real fast. They brought the Klingons back to normal. They put everything back to right. This, I fear, is not able to cut such a cord. And who would care? Okay, why do we need this, Dave? You tell me why we need this redemption story for this just absolutely unredeemable character, and why that is now a Star Trek thing.
I can't.
This is a Star Wars idea. This is from the branch of these Star Trek producers that want Star Trek to be Star Wars.
Yeah,
I think they're just throwing a bone every now and then.
I haven't liked this idea ever since it was a TV series, and I still don't like it even more as a movie or anything else. And my read of it, like, I like the mirror universe. I know you don't. It can be overdone, and it can be done very badly, for sure.
It's a waste of Star Trek episodes.
Yeah. So some people like I like Section 30. I know you don't like Section 31 either, and I
like Section 31 in Deep Space Nine for like 4 episodes, and that's all it ever needed to be.
Right. Section 31 was like an adversary, a villain on Deep Space Nine. And I liked that they were like this, like nobody knew about them. They were unsanctioned, and they were a threat to be like
cloaked in mystery. They actually were cloaked in mystery.
Yeah. And like not something to be like to rah.
Everybody knows what it is, and they have their own separate comm badges, so you definitely know who they are. And you're
that was my biggest biggest complaint. One of my biggest complaints
I've ever heard
about Discovery season 2 was, they were like, Ash Tyler, he's like a secret Klingon, but now he's going to be in Section 31. And also Mirror Universe Georgiou was brought over in season 1, and they put her in Section 31. I don't know, like I feel
real Section 31 would have killed her immediately.
Real Section 31 wouldn't have their own comm badges, and
no, of course not. But if we put real, like Deep Space Nine, what I call the real Section 31, into that,
the only time they ever did it right,
they would not put her in charge of anything. They wouldn't work with her. They would kill her. They would secretly kill her.
Sam likes. I like the Mirror Universe too, but it can be. You can
preface. I love Michelle Yeoh. This is not her fault. But what a waste of her. Like, I watched enough Discovery to see that they were completely wasting her. That character was just ridiculous.
Got a comment here from Ferdinand Cesarano, a friend of the channel who often comments on some of our videos. And he says, I'll say right now that I am sick about this. It's terrible to celebrate terrorism and the evil side of Starfleet. There should be no Section 31 movie because there should be no Section 31.
Agreed. But if you're gonna have this, like Section 31 was good for a story. It was good for that one story
In
line
Deep Space
in
Nine.
Deep Space Nine,
Yeah.
and then they, like to bring it back, you'd have to have some sort of
I,
clever way to do it and have them still cloaked in a bit of mystery. But I don't know how you do that anymore because they were
I don't know
sort of
how because
exposed.
the thing was when Michelle Yeoh leaves Discovery in season 3 of Discovery, she goes in. They're already in the 31st century by this point, and she can't stay there because not only did she jump universes, but she jumped time periods. They explained to us, so it was like breaking. She was like combusting, or she was going to break up, and her and Burnham were
That's discovery logic for you.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like
That's
they
discovery logic
wanted
right
to
up
write
there
her
with
off the show, and
spore
I
drives
forgot
and
it was the Guardian of Forever, with the guy from
who's a
CSI.
dude now. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just this guy reading the paper in the snow. But yeah, like so the Guardian of Forever is involved. I don't really understand why the writers or a lot of this new generation of Star Trek writers wants Section 31 so bad and everything.
Because
Although
it's Star Warsy. It's like the dark side. They need that. They need this edgy thing they can
but
write their little edgy
that's what they're supposed to be
storylines
fighting.
with.
Star
And
Trek's about optimism and being like
it's
working, like having moved past your
being
differences,
better than
being
we
better.
are now. Instead of like I would argue a lot of Discovery portrays us as being potentially worse than we are now. At
Yes.
least like no more evolved. No
Yeah, just
more
as
like
bad, and that people are inherently greedy and selfish and like all these kinds of things. I was like,
it's
and
killed
like
the optimism, man.
I
But
didn't understand what.
again, Strange New Worlds brought that back a little bit. It's an optimistic
Well,
show, and
interestingly, like Pike in season 2 of Discovery, which gives us Strange New Worlds, Pike has to deal with Section 31 a few times in that season, and he knows who they are, but he doesn't like them, but he doesn't really do anything about it either. They've got mentioned in this Picard season of briefly, with all their evil experiments that they were doing on changelings and or
all right,
whatever.
yeah. They
And
had
I
their
guess
own little Daystrom
wasn't
base.
we haven't got to that part in our in the Enterprise rewatch yet, but I think Malcolm was somehow tied up with Section 31 or some
he
version of it.
he 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 works for them. Yeah,
Yeah, he's which
he was
maybe
working
what
for them the whole time.
the whole
Spoiler
time.
alert.
Yeah, we haven't got to that episode yet. I'm curious to see like how like guys like Kevin and Adam will react to that.
Not
But
willingly, kind of like Chief. Like he's working for Star Chief, he's intelligence, I guess the chief, but he's like not really willingly doing it.
yeah, well, like Sam's pointing out, like they've had edgy things in Star Trek, like the Maquis, but I don't think the Maquis you can compare them to the Section 31
They weren't
or
edgy because you never saw them. They were that was politics.
yeah.
All the Maquis stuff was just like political dialogue
Yeah, that was about like
for the most.
people fighting for their homes. That's a whole different
Yeah,
thing. Like, and I like
yeah.
Michelle Yeoh too. I loved her original character that she played in the pilot, the Battle of the Binary Stars,
Me too.
the prime Philippa Georgiou,
And they fridged her
and yeah,
for the character development of Michael Burnham.
yes. And then
Yes.
like 6 episodes or 7 episodes later in that first season, they bring in Mira Georgiou, who, by the way, is a murderer of billions, enslaved people. She eats Kelpians for dinner.
Slaver.
Yeah,
Yep.
like she's a
The
sexual like
worst. Yes, the
abuser.
absolute
Um,
worst.
yeah, she's a
Eats
very
sentient beings.
she's a
Yeah,
very bad
exactly.
person, very very bad.
Like
And so
the,
it's
there's no Star Trek to be had in this show.
yeah,
There's like
she
there's
yeah
no
like
redemption story that I want to see for this character. I'm not going to be like, "Oh, yay, she did it at the end."
I know that there
Like,
can be redemption. Like I was a fan of the show Oz, which was a prison show, and
oh, me
and
too.
and
Now
watching
that's a
that through this,
scary show.
that's a very scary
That'll
show.
scare
But
you straight.
there were characters in that show who were very despicable, evil people. But over the course of the show, you saw some of them like change their ways, were
Like
redeemed, and some
Schillinger.
not Schillinger, but more I not O'Reilly either. Um,
Mm-mm.
there was that priest guy that
Few, not
Schillinger,
many.
not
Not
many, but there
many.
were a few. There were a few. Um, but then they would go bad again.
Yeah,
So
they would. That was a
there were
great show.
right that but they were like that show tried to like humanize the idea that people can do evil things but still be sort of human beings and like they can change or whatever. But I don't know how you
Like,
take
all right,
somebody like this.
yeah, go ahead. How do you do a redemption story for somebody you don't want to see redeemed? Like, why would anyone want to see this character redeemed? Like, we've used the term Space Hitler just as a shorthand, but
Mhm.
she's basically Space Hitler.
Space
Like,
Napoleon, Space Caesar, whatever. She's
no, but worse than those characters. Like, they didn't eat people in like
Genghis
she's
Khan.
worse than all those
Genghis Khan
historical
ate people.
figures. Closer.
Like in the mirror
But like,
universe, at least among Terrans, like the morality of their society is different than the people of our or the Prime universe of Star Trek or whatever. But it's
you want to do like a good redemption story, you take a character, like, take this for a redemption story. Like, everything's going to shit and somebody has to save the day and overcome their own prejudices and stuff to do it. Ben Maxwell, a guy who was like
yeah.
a lauded Starfleet captain and then made one mistake under the grief of losing his family.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
Well,
he
not
was
one
right.
mistake,
He
but
was right.
a bit of a series of mistakes over a
He was
short
right about the
period of time.
Cardassians were smuggling weapons, but
And he was right.
He was blowing them up and without permission from orders, and Picard was like, "You can't do that stuff."
But like,
Right?
no, that's a character I would love to see a redemption arc.
Well, yeah, like that makes more sense. Like a good man who makes a mistake, or somebody who stumbled and then could kind of find their way again after maybe a bad thing that happened. But this is again, this is a psychopath character.
This isn't redemption; it's like evolution. I guess.
And,
You want to evolve this
how is she going to
character
be
into something
redeemed
she
going
never
to
was.
work for the evil Section 31? It doesn't make any sense. Like,
I don't even think it'll be. I don't know. It's dumb. I loved the character she played in the first episode of Discovery. I was so in. You can go back and check my Facebook timeline. I was so positive about Discovery after that first episode just because of her. And
Yeah.
then they killed her, and the show just got steadily worse after that because she
and then when they brought her, mirror in, I didn't think the reveal of her as the mirror was great, and I'm with you and all that. So yeah, I think we're I know it's others in the Live Long and podcast community feel a little differently than us. Some are more excited about this idea. They're not here though.
You probably feel worse than us about it.
Yeah. Well, maybe we probably just made them feel worse, but tell us what you think. If you're really excited for this, tell us why. What's gonna maybe turn us around on this and give us a sense of it, because maybe
there's a Michelle Yeoh. I'm sure she's great, but like,
I like her
not
too.
As that character,
not as that particular character. I don't know. Do I have a Georgiou clip to take us away here? Probably not. But I can.
What does she ever say?
What does she ever say?
Memorable.
No, she doesn't have like a catchphrase.
It's memorable.
I don't think I do. No.
I like my Kelpian extra aged. I don't know. What did she say about eating Kelpian? I like my ganglia.
She likes to eat the ganglia. Oh, you heard my ganglia. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't a lot. Yeah. We need to go out on Saru. We need to get him to like yeah. That he'll be like, don't eat me.
Don't eat my ganglia. I need those.
Yes. Okay, I don't know. I'll just pick a random Saru quote. Here we go.
The uncertainty we are facing is deeply unsettling, but I believe we can meet this moment and do what needs to be done. Now, let us do what we can from here.
Hi, Mr. Saru.
You're right. Okay, for all the Kelpians, let's just cancel this whole idea. All right, we'll see you next time. Live Long and Podcast. Go check us out on Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 10 review shortly.
Okay. Very exciting.
Very exciting. Bye.